Independence Day celebration Ghana won fear do see anso. E be say eh mo wani wo. Obrabe ya na mabo na bi say he. Na wo Ghana near ma se Ghana anti say de atini bi onti. Ghana ko na nim pa hia say ye celebrate. Na zaman grofo ka no. Za ho. Monya 67 years. Afibia na mo de grofo men na mo wiaso na nkra yi ma che ne ade a say be patriotic. Kura ibe nyina be ko school be padwuma ya na akoye boachi bi ni adwuma no bi ni ho de ho nso a sikatu abem chese Ghana na mo hu ani wan sese nka mo celebrity ana Wahab Farouk de na no atum se ko fude na ha o mana mo tete ba mo chi sei mo te ba mo chi no mo se mo afibia mboboka e de celebration we asen di ogaza na se mpanimfo no ya bro agosi se nkora amukọ ma chi awia so kun omo nso ehwe bi kun pempenimfo na omo no eba program no omo jiskada day no so wa say na da je aba betena ho no skatu ya be go so ndika eba wo sa celebration we hu no ye betimi dia ade bi significant enye sa yen celebrity yen ne sojafo yi bufa so gymnastic hwan ni ade acrobatic o se sa ade no mfa so bia ni so na say the waka nsem na kirechem free Kwame Nkrumah prince we de besi sabre no Wahab waben yentie nkomo no na wanzo fa bisu ade say Independent Day celebration eya na enye mo kai Ghana at 15 sensem besi na rekombro be mun sensem besi no e kasa na ye bossa eto ntwada we say home budget ba be todwa ate say wotwe hu nwi mo de beye enema papa ama abo a o man no mo de ye we ya one day na ahye hospitals mo besisi ya ka ho asem bia muntie no sa mo yare na makom amanone akohwe mo ho ebi ne se ya papa jonkuma ohwe no ho abrochire oba 6 March oyare ye mfa no konkran no nkonkohwe no ho e wo Germany ya de akoba ye man yakọ ene hyeden mo nya de ni ye wo krum ha mo yare na mokọ amanone ne papa mni mo nya de ni ye mo ma hospitals no Mama no dialysis machine is for no cha na book in Japan at all power cable ma o mun e was animal we betimi aye e de abo na mu discuss no celebration our Wahab Farouk Agrily na meeting the Alexis this is the Godson's reaction on the Godson TV thank you
Wahab Farouk Akwaba Wahab Farouk Akwabo
Ajoso
anope what to say
ohine me ho ye na so ho to say on angel for
wa mo say ye dia ne yeso ye ho ye
and
almost ye di independence be na ohwe bi de
said the one case on menhwe television nti man hwe bi bet minim say location was only the ekwambia so
na asechire ne say ye me ntiase bo mo se fa hodie bi na wo na betimi a kire ase asechire ne say
okay asechire ne say you benya superpower bia your friend the British no war territorial areas I friend British overseas territories bakon na Ghana ka ho na enso ni say anya sabi British for and be hu sa country we and I say obey identify country Ghana na mon British for said ye nyina nim no de anitie countries are Portuguese koye, countries are Danish okoye, countries are for koye, Dutch for koye, any countries are German koye. So 3 European countries, Portugal, Denmark, and the Dutch. These were the first free Europe at the bar. African continent. That British were baby. The British were then at that time no more concentrated. Almost so Argentine area and Falkland money, the Nordic areas. But almost said, some for buy. Normal buy and the Argentine but to especially the Portuguese. And this anchored the entire Africa continent and predominantly West African Union. And Portuguese state
Omo de di kan be discover yes eh.
Omo discover ni nyina.
Don diago de ben.
Azambuja. Omo discover ni nyina. And to omo ye ne say at that time nyina no na sabi mineral resources gold in yema na wo ho. And to omo nya do omo pa no ma bullshit land no mo ko. Omo nya do omo pa no ma bullshit land no mo ko. Omo kwa na Danish for the first Nordic and the first Scandinavian country. Ananka omzuso no kiasi who are superpowers in Europe than even the British. No mso abisiachi. No mso ababetina mukakra. No mso the Portugal for Janex no mafabi no muko. Omuya na the Dutch today's Holland. Na omso aba. Omso wiya no muko.
Ese chimpe no anu omodi African continent ni die. Yeba no abefabi no okọ. Na yeba no abefabi no okọ. Na obi anya na gwe so oba betra yeso.
None of them. Enti dom koye ni say the Portuguese ni dia okoya kokodu baby a aye today's Angola. Odu ho no. Aho ni baby a okotenaye. And English for so called the same Angolan but ho de Portuguese a moment na ho. And English for so call omo down any today's South Africa. And to call today's South African. Share interesting thing say Dutch for no so abeni na West Africa could do ho. And the Koba say Dutch for ni di kan was South Africa. And English for so call ho. And you me arrangement say and you me entina habi. Now at that time no not the French and the English also so d'accord. Say baby a French better no English ma ho. Baby English better no French ma ho.
Yes, omo de continent na sikuso. Ye chiche mo mematu ha, wo su ko tuba bifo. Ma ha iwaja na ntwinam ye twitwa.
Yes. And to me na o ma agree no. And a French phone catch English phone say, yeah, the Central African part or the African continent. And so yes, so yeah, the West Africa. Name young English for a young French phone, you be north of the African continent. Name English ones say yes, you be east. And anything you could the whole eastern belt, East African. Who could ye Rwanda film? Belgium for a Congo Kakrana. The whole East African in French one call any French colonized country or East Africa, except Djibouti in the Eastern Horn, and Omkotina Hokakra, and Omko for Algeria, and Omko for Morocco, and Omko for Sahara, we from Western Sahara, and Omninam Hobefa Mauritania Mokakra, and Omtisi West Africa, and Ombefa West Africa, in French and Ofifa Dodona, and Okura, yeah. Central anymore. So the French agreed say by this side on there also cover east never south to the home. In English also called down. I cover all the frontline states. Okofa the Fred is Zambia. Okofa Zimbabwe. Ofa South Africa no a half. And Okofa Malawi mo our eastern Kakra and of most of the countries. Nemo interesting things there. Share countries are Portuguese for me decided say or mon farmer English for them. Mozambique and a Cape Verde and a West African so far Tommy and Principe and a Obabe Fa your friend is saying Guinea Bissau into 5 countries in the African countries continental. And what the name manu as for phone. And to imagine some from my English for and will remain in the Angola account and will remain here. Now English for number 5 year now already in this kind of omabidi, but Thompson Abbey said there be establish them as people, establish them as your colony and the British overseas territory and number said no, I say Skawaha and number identify and say that is the Gold Coast of West Africa and Yabetinum. So they decided to live here. And Omutina Hama Omani Jiha. Now, Ombenya challenges Kakra, our Yena cultural diversity na Wakano, and the people are now assassins from and they are Ghana forum. English for Ebenya challenge near Niati more than all the colonies are Coffee fighting in the Ma Omubufu ye Yankan the first colonized country by the British. We gain independent in sub-Saharan, Ghana, and yes, so more edgy, and my keke. No, it was a how bia na ye ha wo mu ne atiti wo mu eno o madwom se no se nkofo wo mu na ema ya atiti na o mani atentem dia yemfa ma o mu na o mu nko
before say ye no kura no na brass Charles Makati asandefo yi ekun no no wo mo ye madwe kwa so wo mo se wo mo sisa wo mo ne ma wo ntena hampo
yes
eti fa hudie na nka beba ntam kura atsen eye 1957 no
earlier than that na ye two colonies eye British overseas territories so British for was Ghana and today's country Botswana, that is the Chwana land. These were the people had British for. Now, and agree says now that time today's Togo, of course, now it was occupied by the Germans. Today's Cameroon, which was part of West Africa, it was occupied by the Germans. And the British one who said no, say and conform higher sa land no kwa ni ya transwater Togo land no French for say mo de muntimi ade pa ha enti monje ha ana French British for ja Togo ni baby de ma wo mu and wo dom concentrate Ghana. So today a back say Nigeria Ghana or DMI in 1957 no the British and the French regretted, meaning said Emra Kwame Nkrumah ebien hanoka say independence is completely meaningless
unless it is linked to the total liberation of the continent.
Total liberation of Africa no msa kwano brofobe na papa weekend. Stay wait again. Once I'm review and no consistently started say or build up. You ya ne say Abubakar Akatafa wa belu amo and so started the same uprising in Nigeria. Don't forget at that time no na Nigeria na munsu na 3 countries. What I say, near 3 countries. And to almost start stimulation of the conversation and Ghana for Ayebino. And Omudimika said no. And conform Haji. And to Nigeria foreign population, no to try to be unified with more political settings among the 3 countries, which is the northern Nigeria, the western Nigeria, and the southern. And no British phone who said no any braba. That was then that Ghana had already stimulated the conversation 3 years in advance. 3 years in advance, and then you come here. West Africa country also started French for send ye associate. And the British for mistake come here so Jemuma Nigeria 1960 and a French for also bombo ye. And it's all Basha French for Bufu or Matogo independence 5 days. No akoma Benin 5 days. No asesa ne Mako. No de akoma Niger 2 days. No de ama Burkina 3 days. No de ama Mali 3 days. No de Odimema ubia. At that time, near be Secretary of Guinea. Only they no starting to crowd the data because of the Ghana.
Why you was a more quiet as a crowd. What catch a French for say, Yanimuni track a biamos some manco, and then one more far, one more pin, one more trebus in every way.
Oh, you know, them. And then also Mali started and also in Passam. And Mali, Burkina, Niger. Out of French for 1 month and Odima independent and Obama Togo Benin and in Niger so what 3 weeks now fast forward Yane Ghana you started say you educate your platform you ma other Africans monkey come home a ho any baby your problem start here and he say nanka British only any problem or not tiates ye niati into the country in what their mama near the Mayan baby a problem we didn't wait for dress to learn and study the administrative constitution the Muma in 1969 say a Republican not before then 1957 independence His Excellency the late President Kwame Nkrumah and my British forum or my almost 2-3 months say prepare na call. Now British need be a person recruitment come back na kwaje visa na je resident permit because no ni embassies because na embassies in wo British one na wo Ghana go ko embassy wo UK ho and to be anchor back and no issue more or less it was a declaration of a deportation if you don't leave and to cover so me imagine so mon kono e be issue that time na French force to Dakar edu high administrative capital of the French ECOWAS. And a French for no French British for casa pressure no muntimi so time na deadline aso. Into Royal Army ebebe fight the British citizen in Ghana. Edu mu ko Dakar. Emu ko go Dakar and send the air transport room to the flight pick them from Accra to Dakar, Accra to Dakar. Kopim say omo beye dey, omo beko. Now interestingly no, time na odu omo beko. Na Ghana oni accountant. Na Ghana oni obi a your friends auditor. Na Ghana oni bibi wanti even the social security na say all the administrative, the agency and departments and ministries na yanti ase because any educate ye hu yi. Rush ayukunyaye. Russia East Africans anya bia omutim tutu omnyama ye wonyama bi ho mabri ahead of us. British for that time na even 7 games ebi omuye wo hwe rugby mu ni ade a na omunya kora nya nkyere yen ene ye de ase da bi enti omuye de na omachire game na omachire football table tennis kwa na omna kyere yen ene ye de ase yen tiase ene ye den ye pambo mu enti hwade ye pambo that time Ghana population was about 4 million. The British foreign economy, they moved and went with all their administration. Administration is saying, or the social security, no, Senate, no, or the call London, and or the accountants general, they call London, and or the your friends, the auditors general, they call London because Nippon and Omia Germany in Omoko. And don't be an Omkacha Ghana say at that time, no, we were richer than New Zealand today. We were richer than Australia today. We're richer than Canada today in terms of wealth, cash, money, and you're talking about the deposit that the country had in the British account. And to me, I'm saying, yate, mapamia yate, resident permit, no, yet beba be apply, your person bebano, teacher for no person bebano, ombitima baba, nemum, your hands were up. Saying ye idea as British Commonwealth. Idea say, ye social security will be away Jumawaha. Ghana ni ben and part of the Social Security Administration calculation. And a British for na London and calculate social security benefit. And calculate social security benefits.
Sikano akada hono. No one a quaternasia no calculate a social security benefit. No more there.
Sikano. And say the Akeni, a wire ha. And yet their bank also so dear, mobile interest. That a Winnie Bank, Winnie Central Bank. And the Central Bank, you know, our independence was still controlled by the British. Papa saying, and Womu Buffoni said, not Dr. Nkrumah with the biggest idea in the geologists, no free Accra, Ethiopia. No free Accra. Across Edu Algeria, no free Accra, no do Tunisia, no free Accra, no across and in Djibouti, no Chamco, the Asia. Said there be monkey come home because Asia holding Nana British was so. No, just say a geologist and a son, an idea and a son.
There's an answer one in Nipedia.
No, that's so. Papa say, "What per match is called who can't cabeshi." Now you're so smart. Now, bro, for to me handle. And the Omodene Bar United Nations General Assembly, the first speech, and the call blast here. And I brought in that woman a table in chance. What we say, at the problem, Baba. That time I take it effect. What take it now? So to remote support. No, I started Rhode Island, Rhodesia. Today Zimbabwe, one monkey come home. I'm sorry, Africa will be sorry. Nasamura Mashemo, Omkra de Chini Jadem, Kenyatta, Mastate,
Julius
yes,
Francois Tombape, Monia, dear.
Yes, Obia. What you say? Kenneth Kaunda. No, interestingly, no, some of everybody, especially the East in Anoma because Kunom Tichikroma Ghana. And Tombes Chia Denny beat them from my Anom Sekai. They got them and women now conti Ghana Sika near one and yet they help poor most of these countries, they funded some of the French countries, including Guinea. Time and Ghana, Ministry of Agriculture, Guinea, Nakwam Kumasi, blocks Diama to whip up the enthusiasm. No people say Ghana independence, and ye demun ye de what is called the African Union, and ye boa other countries, There be a problem by your crackers and say, His Excellency the late President Nkrumah, whom I always adore, say, yeah, no one can be that in Nemum, on your idea of OAU, no. Leaders now, or more independence, Minasabi Yusuno. Oh, you soon in the sense, and no, too selfless. And they say, or no, OAU, no. And Nkrumah and Timama may even the chairman of the OAU. Are you aware? One chairman. And then OAU. The capital koya Addis Ababa. Our munam mudiabeti Ethiopia Airlines, abe major airlines in the world. Because the leaders before the Aba. Because a certain Haile Selassie was say, Kwame de Okano, mentioned Antiase. Ye the emperorship, a kingship. Nemum sa administrative governance in Yankan whom ye in the Nyan Babacono. Samatiasia, meme kingship mean to quite Sabi at his own for. Yasin and Tukwa Basabasa. And intino mean to quite intimate Kobe being Yab Ethiopians or so per some year dear, Maninicha Munina, and in fact that time he was the old man among them all. Monfamraha, Nakokran to quite Papa de Ma, African Union, capital, Ekodi Addis Ababa. Senkebeya Accra, Kibi Accra to say Addis ne, Kesikawaha, and Kakwine, and in Yama, Ka airport Bibian Komuye, and Obetinasi. And Akwame say, so Benjamin did the Ekano, chairmanship on Krafa. The Kwame come and vice chairmanship. For 2 years. And then when you operation there, chief executive, chief CEO, or COO, no, chief operating officer, and the and don't call OAU conference. Kwame Mountain stage now 4 hours. Obianka Sebi. And the French foreign bar. Yabenya Togo president, Yabenya Benin president.
So one Olympios more.
Not that was happening. They said French funds who said, "Sa problem na ba no muji independence no." Omom the independence in Mamono, Hofemono, and Mom Sa Womina, Nom do Kogu France. Do Kogu France no, Abdi Diofomono. And Nom do Omina France African. Omina don't Kogu one ministry. I a friend Ministry of Agri. And no more Bruni minister. And a deputy ministers, and to be our dear presidency post French independence in 1960, no a deputy minister of Agri, including over 1 year. Why would the French 1 year? And Rom Snase, it's any woman, and Rom Gomba said, French protege will support you. And they say, "Oh, say the independence am I the amount." Nemo who said the scarcity, who said the CEO, we need central bank. And it is what watch here. Togo, till today, we need central bank. Till today, Benin, we need central bank. Niger, we need central bank. Burkina, we need central bank. Mali, we need central bank. Côte d'Ivoire, no, many be. And what gather women in and was say, Mamma one currency. And they had a control of their own. But the English ones here not just so liberalizing, and it's no, so or wow, but now meow. In the English colonies now on the African continent, they are betting them as a result of how a British training young. Because British funny training when it's here, and was said training Sabi Croron, and would train with Yaman Tiano, and a ma Sabi, and Cromasso year word, and was okay Africa, the English grand year. Men Pamuni Bibia, Yesika da Homafa, and yet many China, many Hanoi, many Russia, many Poland. And in the Ghana, Coco share country, Romania till today. And I've said this on several times. The new Romania, Kwame Nkrumah pact an agreement or Kobwa Ceausescu government. It was signed, said, until the end of this world, no Ghanaian should go to the Republic of Romania and then vice versa with visa.
But the name ye so.
Ye encode so because ye exploit because Maka. Again, say, country Poland, I'm not coming to Ghana, Echo Poland, Kobwa woman. Not the Poland today. Hotel Metropole, ABC Poland, ABC Romania, every Balkan country be a hotel metropole be a Ghana property. Yakoyama woman. to whip up a new friendship and leave the British. And when the British trusted say or sabotage na sanete dia obe sabotage economy. Ye koko no obe sabotage ko na neton koko. Ye ni Ghanaian koko merchant. And the was I pam wo mukra na no ye independent state no. Se koko time ni dura che British na na be for na nim se me koto am Swiss. And the price na obe kan eno na obe jedi. Enye sa monko ose monko na monko chinwe. Na mo adwe wo ho. Wo betimare and no woman turn you cocoa di say don't pay and a gold merchantship and so the same thing. In Ghana, Kwame Viva, you're free baby.
And the other baby. A brand yamra batu a year, womino, and they baby, your G independence.
I want to make said, and from Soba, but whether we like it or not, and Chroma put forth what this country needed. Yes, and correct to your mistakes. Yes, and question we nipa or set goals. Nana the goals in too high. The standards were high. The threshold was high. Enti abrofo fa na ho akwan say ye betu no. He was not the only person. Kwame Nkrumah did 9 years no. Oma post-independent nations in Africa nyinara. Eye Congo, eye Guinea, how do you call it? Eye Kenya. Nyina check it. First presidents, 6 years, 7 years. Now, Brofuna Betu, Nigeria, first, say Abubakar Belua. Interestingly, no, the British wire and say countries, no, more independence, some countries military, no, or when you have been standing, they was to do a London. Your friend Sandhurst and a British France forces there as well France. Now Sandhurst, no, a one night you good military team, one from military for no training woman, no more man with defense. Then here Kwame Nkrumah, then here secretary, then here we will be a selected group of men. Edwom Koye. Some call for no British training of military. Ebini Obasanjo, Ebini Buhari, Ebini Babangida. In Ghana, Afrifa, Kotoka, your friend is a Champon, a Kufu. All those who staged coup d'etat in everywhere in Africa and French countries were those now. France, from Paris, France Legionnaire, and Ghana formed who watch the history and follow the history. Obioye Kubiano by a British trainee. And what went into the judgment? Could say, won't take over the government because now Omu hit and America, so America, and FBI, CIA for and Nkrumah. Say ye to Ukraine. The country went through phases. The phase one, Ayakotokam regime, a FIFA. What about from there to Buzia, and from Buzia back again, a Champon, overthrow, a Champon, a Kufu, up to Nanado Danko, a Kufu, you have about 13 head of states and presidents, counting 14. You were independent. Sabi, ya minya Bush, ya kontokwa. Ya tima simulating ye. The Oka Samana Oka, ya culture setting, and then holding the security of this country naturally, and ye military intelligence, and ye police intelligence. And Tinkaya, ya position ya hunji, as against country to so Congo Mama come from independence Bepemne, as against country Cameroon or Makupus independent Bepemne. And to the Koba and say, ye leaders, the developmental agenda. Because the white paper or the black paper or the blueprint of Kwame Nkrumah, that map on the ho. Omukwa no ready. Rollins really President Kufuor ready. President Mahama ready. President Mills ready. President Nando Danko Akufo-Addo omunyina ready. Enti eba ne sen ene se country Tunisia. Udu wana oni Europe difference nim. Tunis, Ghana independence, Yaji Ansana France de Mano, Yani force Tunisia independence, 1957, your friends at 56. Yanya Diano, and a Maumia day, Omkoji Womudia. Now Morocco, Yanono, 1 year. Now FIFA, Yanko Kenya. Kenya, Yaji independence, over 6 years, and San Unia independent. Question Nairobi today.
Omo develop it. Womu development plan na womu follow. It omo develop it well.
Obi antimi mfa chance mfa na duane mfa body a oton entimi megina the central district of the city Accra e megina pavement se me dia me market o Mamala market e Masakama market e wo Medina market se me di dwa ba betra pavement ma fa road no fa mo so mo mfa fa. And in the history of Kenya said mechanic fitani said ono ye na djuma etimi gi a road public road street ye nya dia e fa e de car e ye ne spraying e de gu kwa nso gya ho empra asafa abra enya ne private property e bi ansi ho Morocco bi ansi onti hwe Morocco Casablanca hwe Rabat ne be hwe Accra ko hwe Ethiopia ne be hwe Accra. Now the case study in a country Botswana. I want to hear the same thing about Kwame Yebi. Already I have for 4 years. Omo call far from far canoe, far donkey, echo UK ko catch Queen Elizabeth say, Mame, more language English, you know. So per se, you declare class I say I'm colonial. Yeah, the language no enka. Yabaka Chwana. They told him on the face, they told her on the face. Shababia Botswana, the model economy, the neatness, and the country of Botswana say small population of 4 million. Why are the best operating economy from independent Bepemine?
At the end, one more year in the year, okay, was the development of Kwame Nkrumah, the 7-year development plan, crowd the tour. It saw a lot of achievement than a need year, you don't want your call. The
only thing the country needs a reverse. The reverse is that admittances. Tampa, you do Omano, you do Omano Shambo. Obia beye kakra wontimi nge ni nyina but say ni de omo je no self onu ankasa the president or the presidency or the individual government na me so me njintum da njintum kyan say Ghana youth, Ghana young men and women in their 40s, in their 30s, in the last 13, 15, 20 years, and my government, they are the people that we should today woefully blame more than
the youth of this country.
A matured youth, disorganized, matured youth of Ghana. Because say President Mills have 5 ministers are no more 38 years. Ministers are more 40 years. And the President Kufuor so far President Mama far more. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo also after me. About 35% or 25% of his current, and the ages of 45. And can use now but look at them. All these presidents from Rollins time across Rollins.
Yeah, the crowd was 2 million and I'm 33 or saying. What When if you are being one budget 2 million and I'm 30s.
Who do I am? So what you really say, you can the new nation, the new blood, the young blood, Europe, German forum, until 1924. Now Germany, Prime Minister Crow, 40 years. They started had Schroeder at the age of 42. Now you swear to many ministers long before Crown long younger than that. And it's a overshek. Maybe they may compare. So country to Singapore, your channel. Country to say Malaysia, ye 6 months. Woko Bangladesh, ono nene, oye ujut saka wode koko egum. Bangladesh uju independence, no on dream independence. Eti yakoba ne say. Enti youth na aba ne say nkokora for politicians. Nkroma mu ye bi wo mabre omko, oma wu some couple of years ana ye mu bi kwa ye nwu ye na. Oko. What are you telling me today say? Wo de oba no, what bet to say? Country New Zealand afa oba our 38 years. Country San Marino afọ bi 32 years. Country France superpower afọ bi 38 years. Atoto niema. Na mo amoba no e den na mo de aka ho. Enti Africa, the problem of Ghana, the reverse in say, the selfishness, the greed, disrespect, and the yadia yabebo ho modern aye de aya ne say one thing in the history of Ghana is the political dispensation since 1992 said ye feel said the whole country ye bibia wo wiase and so akosan life na wakoto aba agro yamampa maslechi montumufo ma obi Ghana pasungwe Ghana won. Is that all what we need as a country? Bullshit, excuse me. this year, Uber who are suffer for. I be mom ska so mompaye. Uber who malam and imam for. I be mom land cruiser so mompaye. Uber who religious bodies. Your friend is traditional leaders. Your be mom cast. Someone can chairman call for muntu mu for ahimfi. Mo bi an talk. All in the good name said. Sikano musu so mbejuano. Your mom asumje no mundi. That is where the Ghana problem is. Enti edua your sunlight. Your koto election. Mo bi an ko bi asem. Ghana, Munsha, Liberia, Munsha, I better will live in the state of Rwanda as it was and get it better for my son to come and enjoy. Because if there is the case and that is how we're moving at, how long are we going to reverse the entry? Uko Kaneshi, to be a young including who and Yenina, and sure to 1 minute now I come. How did it happen? And how said Botswana why any rain in irrigation? Obia or continent Africa, Kenya, as against a country, older 6 years, independence. And it is sad. Say the Ghana from yes, it's not just about the political electoral system now. Yes, bacon of the democracy. Democracy is economic emancipation. Do we have that one? You have only electoral democracy. You don't have economic democracy. Is that a country? Where is the initiatives? And where do you drive your initiatives? And it is like that. So British one year, wouldn't me reverse the colonial masters. The colonial period, the independence, pre-independent time. And so because and our brofun and I say, and our brofun I say, look at Papa in the modern day of 1990, 32 years, 34 years in a country called your friend said East Germany was a country. A city called your friend is Asenhuchenstadt, a city called Jena, a city called Dresden today, and your friends say all the German cities. Na papa baby your friends say flashing toilet, WC, no mubida. In Europe, what am I used to 34 years from 1990 to today? I'm not be East German boom. About have the model beautiful city more than the old German called the West Germany. And then our year would dear from independence. We are both. I was celebrating independence 67 years. Are you crazy? Are we crazy? What? No, we don't have a future. We don't have a future. We have a talk. We have a talk show. We have a noise. We have a voice. Our voice is only prepare your finger. I prepare only your line, your cure, so shall say do simulations, period. This time, electoral simulations, electoral commission, you're from IPAC, none of them, including the political divide, the two of them, will be an economy once. At that time, no argument, conscience ties only on say, and then I better steal you and give you a good government than to be misbehaved. Who tells you, say, the governance? And the leadership is only restricted to 4 years. Who tells you? And if he said the 4 years mandate, you know, and the 4 years times 2, and 1 year here, you're pretty giggling from a friend say, and one. Is that what we need? All these countries that had good leadership, Mahathir of Malaysia, who they are saying. Malaysia, Mahathir, who they are saying. They can you the idea saying, Chamama would the idea. One called the University of China and Tamo Tutumu, would the idea saying, Pokin, Kenfat, Kowomo, these are North Africans, Morocco, Mokobu said, the saying and the year. It was not a question of the Brunei say 4 years, 4 years. Until the leadership must not restrict itself, say 4 years now, fine. But then I don't care about the 4 years. I care about who will come and develop Ghana, who will come and stop the nonsense indiscriminately. We don't care. From Accra, Farisco, Yenyasusa, downtown city, Accra. It is a country in front of our central police station called the Accra region. Excuse me, mechanic crude and will be at us on a modern day Ghana, not in Tumakatano. Now, no P inside the Kuraba, no Shabu Street, so police are standing there watching. Where did we get that? Because a certain president, because a certain mayor, say, Mamon Conco Kawomo, Nemano, usual and Yabre, Yanyabreko, over Pamiana, Mero. Hey. Can you do this in Kenya? Go and ask Ghana and you in Kenya. Go and ask Ghana and you in Botswana. Go and ask Ghana and you in South Africa. You will not even dream. Say what better principal street of the city. What better your one market area? She market if now we see a move fintil on pra or no kind of board here from central region. No, they are better bridges. No atom. A chrome has a circle. The investment that presidency or that government dikumu a building circle. Mathematically, abodam for and now do circle VIP anymore. Fever obia top bed. Obia bed. But them need 2 elections. Abodam for go elections.
We just don't care. That's all.
We don't have the city authority say Yamamontra handed the symbolic part of Ghana, the history point. Kwame Nkrumah circle supposed to be a Abrofobia and Kombaka Church, only the city center.
Now walking. Ufri airport no kura no abrofo ni free mo eba se wo mu pie free mo ya hoho free mo ba wo pie ya na nkrofo giregyina wo sere wade wo run the country no.
Young boys now or bad no abeba wo front wajim wo windscreen. Go and do that in Cote d'Ivoire. Go and do that in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, men fan question. Hassan Ouattara, me for constitution's sake, I do not like how he managed to scheme and skew around Cote d'Ivoire constitution. Go many problem. But if in terms of development, in terms of achievement, in terms of the Papan Akokra at that age, why in the last 10 years, or 13 years on Cote d'Ivoire, Papa, it was for 1 year time and he has done it more than the whole 1 year. And what is the difficulty? The economy is bigger than Cote d'Ivoire. What you must set in the road bia? Why in the road bia? 6 lanes from Abidjan, Grand Bassam, all the way to Ghana border. Yakwa you intinye the same country nibi. Cote d'Ivoire the catch Ghana in terms of what cash quantum. You only the catch but when you development. Shall bridge also be on Cote d'Ivoire that time. Treasury will cross the plateau hono. It was only 2 bridges. Alas, I want to write my bridges are completed. Maku 6. So there's no traffic.
Our halfway, one way. And come on, dear. Chesawuka so beka, the beche. And when I want to him, Papa, what a he.
Horizon.
Dia some kure ye na pebre na next week Monday me no ntra se ye nhwe
mebacho buku me meba
for next week Monday brana the dynamics ekoso ye elections ye ba no one ye hwe no the message no mo de ba no kwa senate brana
there is no message. There is no message. The message of referrals, the message of what I just said, there is no message from both camps, which are I'll call it the leadership camps, NDC, MPP. To me, I'm sorry to disappoint all my friends in any of these 2 respective governments and parties. You know. There is no message. The content is too low. The content is too feeble. The contents only target on the electoral vote. That is not what I need. That is not what we see. Mumbra Namumeka, something that will propel this nation, something that will move Ghana to be like Malaysia, something that will make Ghana like Mahathir and others.
Big dreams.
Dream big and initiate and work on the initiatives. Ghana Bako, Yampesi Bechichemu. Is that the country and Shota found Nipamen Debia and the story is still the same. Sacred this year, June, July, Nani Pebu. Could it be me? Could it be you? It could be any of us. Every loss count, any loss of a human life affects the nation. Have we thought about that? For us to leave this and be talking about political elections.
May I say no pay?